Welcome back to yet another 5-Minute Friday. For this 5-Minute Friday, I want to continue the list of questions that I got. And this one, hate to say it, but I'm not really that great at it, but I've been around the block a few times and I've seen it done many times, and that is maintenancing your TIG welder. Let's put 5 minutes on the clock, see where it goes. When it comes to maintenance on your TIG welders and just welders in general, usually in my experience, it's always, at the end of the year when everything's kind of slowing down a little bit. The holidays are coming up, I got time off, like I said, jobs are slow. It's just a slow period in the year. And that's always been when you take apart your whole booth or whatever, sweep it all out, clean it all up, and you get that opportunity to blow out your welder. And if you work in a really dirty environment, it is pretty crazy how much those welders suck into those machines, especially the old sinker waves and the old solid state machines. Those things, they can just be nasty on the inside. And getting a chance to really break them down and take the panels off the side and everything and blow them out really well, I highly recommend. Roll it outside. Like, if you can, completely take the machine outside of your shop, because it is amazing how much dust builds up inside those things. If you have a water pump or water cooler on your machine, especially the Miller ones, I don't know if all of them have this, but it's a filter that's often missed, and a lot of people don't even know it's there. On the water pump itself, if there's an acorn nut, a big acorn nut about that big on the side, unscrew that thing, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be a filter underneath that thing. And it's a really good idea to just wash that out from time to time. And, at least once a year, maybe once every 2 years or something like that. Or if you notice that it's starting to squeal a little bit more, or it's starting to act kind of funny, that's my first go-to, is I take that filter out, take that acorn nut off the side of the pump. It's usually kind of at a 45-degree angle. Take that filter out and wash it out. It's a really, really fine screen on that filter, so it can get clogged up pretty easily, depending on what type of coolant you're using. If you're using just regular water, it can really get filled up quick. If you're using, deionized water, a little bit longer. If you're using coolant with no water, a little bit further. As far as actual... On the older machines, there was a lot more maintenance that you could do. Like, you could take the points out of the machine, and I would put them on, chuck them up in a mill and just kind of touch them on a piece of sandpaper just to kind of square them up a little bit again and clean them up, and then set the point distance. And that made it run a lot nicer. It made the arc a little bit crisper, because those do get kind of crudded up over time. With the newer units, a lot of the times, depending on which ones you have, if you've got like an Everlast or something, the points on them are generally, you can't take them out. I don't know if they're just better, or I haven't used mine enough, I don't know. But I haven't had any issues with points on a newer inverter machine. So maybe they've changed that, but the old solid state machines, they would definitely get all cobbled up, and they would kind of like a piece of tungsten that you don't ever touch, but it just gets boogered up over time. It just kind of erodes. So you have the points you can do. You can take the machine out of the shop, blow it all out, get everything out as clean as possible, wipe it down. Wipe down the face of the machine, because they get all nasty and stuff, and you don't really notice how gross they are until you take a rag to it. Then you're like, wow, that was a lot worse than I thought it was going to be. As far as the torch, I usually will just kind of take some time if I have it, like if I'm, taking apart the machine and doing maintenance on it, I'll just kind of take some time and go almost inch by inch on the hoses and just make sure that everything looks good. You can, if it's a 3-line hose where you have the power lead, if you take that and you make a big loop on the end and you just kind of squish that loop down, that'll tell you if you've got a break in your line, in your lead. You can just kind of do that a little bit, just like I said, look for any holes in there or cracks or dry rot spots or anything like that, and address them accordingly. As far as the torch heads, if they've got a lot of tape on them or anything like that, I might take that off, and put new tape on it, because usually the tape's there for a reason, because the torch handle shocks you for some stupid reason. But electrical tape all around it cleans that up real nice, and then you're good. But the tape does get kind of cruddy after time, so I do like to pull that off and put new tape on. But basically, if you're at the end of the year, which we just passed, unfortunately, just take the time and, like I said, pull your welder out of the shop and just blow it out. Look at it, look around on the inside, make sure there's no wires that are frayed or anything like that. It is a very important thing to do, because if you are running a company, your welders are your money makers, and you got to keep them going. And if they die, money stops. So hopefully that helps a little bit. I know it's pretty basic. Like I said, most of the places I've worked, especially the last 7 years, 8 years, most of those, they've had maintenance like a maintenance department that have a schedule to come around, and they usually do their own maintenance on the welders themselves, so you never really have to touch them. And sometimes that's good, sometimes it's bad, because I've had several places that did that, and basically all they did was just kind of like blow it off a little bit. They didn't even pull it out. They just kind of blew it off, looked at it, said, "Yep, looks good." Okay. So, like I said, hopefully this helps a little bit. If you have your own welder at home, like, it's pretty easy to just blow it out. So, if you got a question for a future 5-Minute Friday, shoot me an email at roy@welderskills.com or leave it in the comments below. We'll catch you next week. So while everything's still recording, I figure I'll do a little update on my electricity for the garage. I heard back from the electrician, and I'm not dogging the guy by any means, but he was a little bit out of my price range for the work that I needed to be done. It was going to be quite a bit of money to do not a whole lot of work. And I do kind of feel that he's very, very busy, so he's good at what he does. And he just didn't want to do the job, and he priced it in a way that if I took it, he was going to make money. Like I said, can't knock him for that. It's just, it was out of my price range, so I'm going to be looking at different options. The first option that I have, and we're going to go with, is my parents are going to be coming up to, spend a few weeks up here at the new house and all. And my dad, he's done maintenance and all that stuff for all my life. So he knows electricity. He knows everything about everything. Just one of those kind of guys. They're going to be coming up mid-February, and hopefully we'll get that situated in the weekend after they get here, because that's kind of one of the reasons they're kind of coming up a little bit early. So I might try to do a video with my dad, putting in the electricity and running the wires and stuff like that. I don't know. I mean, is that something you'd like to see? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below or shoot me an email. But that's where we are with that. In all honesty, it's been pretty brutally cold up here in Ohio for the last month or so. I mean, it's winter, so And the garage has zero heat or zero insulation, so it's been really cold out there. So that's why I haven't had a chance to do much of anything out in the garage since we've moved. And we've got a few things that we're dealing with the house right now, like flooring and painting and stuff like that, that has kind of taken precedence over pretty much everything. And should be done here soon, hopefully, and I can get out to the garage and start making some more videos. So we're gonna get the plug in, and as soon as we get that plug in, we'll start playing out there a little bit more. I have thought about trying to push the 110 plugs and see what's what with them, but I'm not sure. I don't know how it was all wired up. I don't know electricity, so it's kind of questionable if you ask me. So that's an update. We'll catch you next week.